So in the last two classes we have studied about how to derive the equation motion of nonlinear systems. So in this case we have studied mainly two different types of methods. One is inertia or force based method and second one is energy based methods. So in force or momentum based method, so we have used Newton's second law or D'Alembert principle, and in case of energy based principle, so we are using Lagrange principle or extended Hamilton principle. So last class we have derived some equation of motion for different discrete systems using this Lagrange and Hamilton principle. So today class also will continue with the same and will derive some equation of motion for some other systems. So we will study or will derive the equation motion for a simple pendulum, a double pendulum, also some spring mass system and one continuous system today. So in the last class, so you have seen for this vibrating system, this is a simple pendulum in which this kinetic energy is converted to potential energy and vice versa. So the total energy of the system remain constant. So by using this energy based principle also, so we have to derive this equation motion. So initially we have derived the equation motion of the simple pendulum by using this Newton's second law, where we have found the force and we have obtained the acceleration of this bob, and taking this acceleration and equating this or finding this inertia force, external force equal to inertia force, and we have found the equation motion. But by using this, so today class we will derive the equation motion of the simple pendulum by using this energy based principle. So this is the simple pendulum. So the velocity of this pendulum, so this mass, so velocity, so if it is moving in this direction, let at time t equal to 0, it is at this vertical position, and at t equal to t, it has rotated by an amount theta. So it has come to this position, and at this position, if the length of the pendulum is L, then its velocity will be equal to L theta dot. So velocity of the pendulum can be, or velocity of this bob of this pendulum can be written as L theta dot. So one can find the kinetic energy and potential energy. So kinetic energy equal to half mass into velocity square. So velocity equal to L theta dot. So it will be L theta dot square. And potential energy, so taking this as the reference, so potential energy can be found. So potential energy is the change in height into mass and into g. So change in height becomes, so if this length is L, so originally the bob was here, so now it has come to this position. So this is the change in height. So the change in height can be this to this. So this distance become L minus L sin theta. So L minus L cos theta. So this is L cos theta, this is L sin theta. So this portion is L cos theta. So L minus L cos theta is change in position. So due to this change in position, so it possesses potential energy, and this potential energy equal to m into g into L into 1 minus cos theta. So now Lagrangian of the system L can be written as t minus u. So already we have this t equal to half m L square theta dot square, and u become the potential energy equal to, so already we have found the potential energy, this is mgl into 1 minus cos theta. So now first we will use this Lagrange principle and then Hamilton principle to derive this equation motion. So using Lagrange principle, our equation motion can be obtained in this way. So d by dt of del L by del q k dot minus del L by del qk. So, as no external force is acting on the system, so this will be equal to 0, and in this case qk, that is the generalized coordinates. So, k equal to 1. So, this is single degree of freedom system. So, k equal to 1 and qk is nothing but theta, but one can take different coordinate systems also. One can take x and y coordinate system, but if one take x and y coordinate system to locate this position of this pendulum, that time the equation can be written in terms of x or y, as x and y are related by this constant equation. That is, if this coordinate is x y, then one can write x square plus y square equal to L square. So, either one can use the generalized coordinates x or y or theta to determine this equation motion. So, in this case we are using theta as the generalized coordinate to determine the equation motion. So, here qk is theta. So, I can derive this equation in this way. So, d by dt of del L by del qk dot, that means del L by del theta dot. So, it will be half m L square into 2 into theta dot. So, 2 theta dot. So, and if you differentiate this thing with respect to theta dot, then it will be 0. So, this part becomes this, then minus del L by del theta will give us. So, differentiation of this part with respect to theta equal to 0, and differentiation of this part, now it becomes minus plus. So, this becomes mgl, and differentiation of this minus cos theta equal to sin theta. So, this is equal to 0. So, or one can write this 2 to cancel. So, m L square theta double dot plus mgl sin theta equal to 0, or this theta double dot plus g by L sin theta equal to 0. So, we know the sin theta can be, so for small angle theta it can be written as sin theta will be equal to theta, approximately equal to theta, but if you take large amplitude of oscillation, then we may write the sin theta equal to theta minus theta q by factorial 3 plus theta 5 by factorial 5 minus theta to the power 7 by factorial 7, and one can go on adding the terms. So, the resulting equation becomes theta double dot plus g by L into theta minus theta q by factorial 3 plus theta 5 by factorial 5, and one can go on adding these terms. So, this is equal to 0. So, this is the nonlinear equation of motion for the simple pendulum we have derived using Lagrange principle. We can also use this Hamilton principle to derive this same equation motion. So, here using Hamilton's principle, so one can write this Hamilton principle integration T1 to T2 del L plus del W N C dt equal to 0, and where this, so q T1 will be equal to q T2 equal to 0. So, here this T1 and T2 are the time where the true path becomes equal to the varied path. So, at this position this delta qk equal to 0, delta qk, that is the variation in the displacement or variation in the generalized coordinates, becomes 0. So, q T1 equal to q T2 equal to 0, and in this case q our q equal to theta. So, we can derive this equation by using this Lagrangian L. So, here delta WNC equal to 0 as there is no force acting on the system. So, in this case this part equal to 0, delta WNC equal to 0, no external force is acting on the system. So, one can write T1 to T2 for this L I can write. So, this is equal to half m v square is L theta L square theta dot square minus. So, I can write this u. So, this L equal to T minus u. So, u equal to mg L into 1 minus cos theta. So, del, so using this del operator into dt. So, this should be equal to 0. So, now one can use this del operator in the system and derive the equation motion. So, using this del operator one can write. So, T1 to T2 half. So, this is half, then m L square into 2 theta dot. So, I can write this into 2 m L theta dot into del theta dot minus mgl. So, this term using del operator, this term becomes mgl, minus sign is there before. So, del operator with 1, this becomes 0 and this becomes plus sin theta. So, mgl sin theta into delta theta dt. So, this will become 0, or one can write this as T1 to T2 m L square. So, this is L square. So, this is m L square theta dot. So, I can write this delta theta dot equal to d by dt of del theta. So, this is dt minus integration T1 to T2 mgl sin theta del theta dt. So, this will be equal to 0, or one can write. So, one can integrate this by parts. So, taking this as the first function and these are the second function. So, one can write first function remain as it is. So, integration of the second one. So, integration of the second one gives delta theta T1 to T2, then minus integration T1 to T2, differentiation of the first function. So, this will give m L square theta double dot, then delta theta dt minus integration T1 to T2 mgl sin theta delta theta dt equal to 0. But we know this delta theta at T1 equal to 0 and delta theta at T2 equal to 0. So, these terms becomes 0. So, the remaining things now becomes T1 to T2. So, if I will take this m L square common, so then this becomes theta double dot plus g by L sin theta delta theta dt equal to 0. As this delta theta is arbitrary, that is this virtual rotation. So, this cannot be 0. So, the coefficient of this, that means these terms should be equal to 0. That means one can write this theta double dot plus g by L sin theta equal to 0. So, this gives the equation motion of the system. So, in this way one can use either Lagrange principle or Hamilton principle to derive the equation motion of a system. So, let us see that of a double pendulum now. So, previously we have seen for a single degree of freedom system but now let us take a 2 degree of freedom system. So, in this case let us take length, both length same, but the mass different. So, I can take this mass equal to m1 and this mass equal to m2. So, let at time t it has rotated, the first link has rotated by an amount theta 1 and the second one has rotated by an amount theta 2 from the vertical position. So, the position vector of this point, that is mass m1, can be written as r1. So, it will be equal to L sin theta 1. So, it will be equal to L sin theta 1 I plus L cos theta 1 j. So, let me take this as the direction I and these are the direction j. So, positive I direction and j direction I can take in this way. So, the coordinate or the position vector r1 of this mass can be written as L sin theta 1 I plus L cos theta 1 j. Similarly, the position vector of this point can be written as, so the x component will be from this to this, that means this plus this, and this part becomes, already we have found this part. So, this is L sin theta 1 and this part becomes L sin theta 2. So, one can write this position vector x component of the position vector equal to L sin theta 1 plus L sin theta 2 I, and this vertical part can be written. So, addition of this part plus this part. So, this becomes L cos theta 1 plus L cos theta 2 j. So, in this way one can find the position vector of this point and the second point. So, from these physical coordinates or from this position vector, so one can find the velocity of the system. So, velocity v1 can be obtained by differentiating this one. So, by differentiating this, one can write v1 will be equal to L cos theta 1. So, it will be L cos theta 1 into theta 1 dot, this is in I direction, plus, so this L cos theta 1, differentiating this thing one can write. So, it will becomes minus L sin theta 1. So, this becomes minus L sin theta 1 dot j, and one can write the velocity v2 equal to, by differentiating this thing one can write the velocity of the second mass. So, the velocity of the second mass can be, so this becomes L sin, so differentiation of L sin theta 1, this becomes L cos theta 1 dot plus L cos theta 2 dot. So, this is in I direction, plus in j direction differentiating that thing one can find. So, this becomes minus L sin theta 1 dot. So, the sign will be different. So, this is L sin theta 1 into theta 1 dot plus L sin theta 2 plus into theta 2 dot. So, this is in j direction. So, we got the velocity in I and j direction for the first mass and then for the second mass. Or one can directly also write the velocity of this. So, velocity of this is nothing but, so this is equal to L theta 1 dot. So, the velocity of this point equal to L theta 1 dot, and velocity of this point will be velocity of this, of the first one, parallel to this one can draw a line parallel to the first one, plus the velocity of this point with respect, velocity of this point with respect to this. So, which is perpendicular to this link. So one can find, so this is L theta 1 dot and this is L theta 2 dot. So the summation of these two, so one can find, so this is L theta 1 dot and this is L theta 2 dot. So one can find the resultant of these two. So the resultant, by using this parallelogram theorem, one can use this parallelogram theorem to find the resultant of these two. So this is the resultant of these two velocity. So this is the velocity of this mass. So in this way one can find the velocity of mass 1 and velocity of mass 2. So after finding the velocity of mass 1 and mass 2, so one can determine the potential energy and kinetic energy of the system. So the kinetic energy of the system T can be written as half mass for the mass 1 into, so one can find the velocity m v1 dot v1. So it will be L cos theta 1 dot I minus L sin theta 1 dot j, and a dot product I can give. So this will becomes L cos theta 1 minus L sin theta 1 j. So this is for the first mass. Similarly, for the second mass, the kinetic energy can be written as half m2 into velocity of the second mass. So velocity of the second mass can be written in this form. So using this dot product, again one can write. So this becomes L cos theta 1 dot plus L cos theta 2 into theta 2 dot. So this is I component, and j component becomes minus L sin theta 1 dot plus L sin theta 2 dot. So this is j. So now I can have this dot product. So with the dot product, same thing I can write. So this is L cos theta 1 dot plus L cos theta 2 dot I minus L sin theta 1 dot plus L sin theta 2 dot. So this is j component. So in this way one can find the kinetic energy of this system. So simplifying this thing, so now as we are doing this dot product, so I dot I will be equal to 1 and I dot j equal to 0. So this will give L cos square theta 1 dot square plus L square sin theta 1 square theta 1 dot square. So in that way, so for the first mass one can write T will be equal to half m1 L square. So this is cos into cos, so this will give you cos square theta 1. So this becomes cos square theta 1 plus sin square theta 1. Then for the second mass it will be equal to half m2 L square. So one can have this cos square theta 1. So I component, so I multiplied with I, so that will give cos square theta 1, then cos square theta 2 plus 2 cos theta 1 cos theta 2. So product of these two terms also will be there. So in that way one can write, so this becomes m2 L square cos square theta 1 dot square plus cos square theta 2 dot square plus 2 cos theta 1 into cos theta 2 into theta 1 dot theta 2 dot plus. So this is from the I component. Similarly from j component you can have this sin square theta 1 theta 1 dot square plus sin square theta 2 dot square plus 2 sin theta 1 into sin theta 2 theta 1 dot theta 2 dot. So, this is cos square theta plus sin square theta equal to 1. So, this gives rise to half m1 L square. So, here you have also this theta 1 dot square. So, this is theta 1 dot square plus this half m2 L square. So, this is cos square theta 1 plus sin square theta 1, this becomes 1. So, this becomes theta 1 dot square. Similarly, cos square theta 2 dot square, sin square theta 2 dot square. So, by adding these two, so this is reduces to theta 2 dot square, and these two, so 2 sin cos theta 1 into cos theta 2 plus sin theta 1 into sin theta 2 whole multiplied by theta 1 dot theta 2. So, this becomes cos theta 2 minus theta 1, cos theta 2 minus theta 1 into theta 1 dot theta 2 dot. So, in this way one can write the total kinetic energy of the system equal to half m1 L square theta 1 dot square plus half m2 L square theta 1 dot square plus theta 2 dot square plus 2 cos theta 2 minus theta 1 dot theta 2 dot. So, this theta 2 minus theta 1 is nothing but the difference between. So, from this diagram one can see what is theta 2 minus theta 1. So, one can extend this line, this theta 1 line. So, this angle is theta 1. So, this angle is theta 1, theta 2 minus theta 1. So, the kinetic energy of the system becomes half m1 L square theta 1 dot square plus half m2 L square theta 1 dot square plus theta 2 dot square plus 2 cos theta 2 minus theta 1 into theta 1 dot into theta 2 dot. So, one can see that one can have a coupled term in the expression for the kinetic energy, or one can have. So, similarly, we can derive the potential energy of the system. So, potential energy of the system can be obtained by adding the potential energy of the first mass and for the second mass. So, potential energy is due to its position. So, for the first mass, this change in position. So, we can write the potential energy becomes m1 g into its change in position becomes L into 1 minus cos theta 1. Similarly, for the second mass, the change in position becomes, or the potential energies, we can write m2 into g into change in its position. So, change in its position becomes, so initially it was in vertical position, that means, so initially it was at this position. So, now it has come to, some other position. So, one can find the equation, or one can find this change in position like this. So, this is the change in position which will be equal to, so this is L, this is plus L. So, L plus L, this is 2L. So, 2L minus L cos theta 1 minus, so this becomes L cos theta 2. So, this becomes m2 into g into 2L minus L cos theta 1 minus L cos theta 2. So, after getting this potential energy and kinetic energy, one can find the Lagrangian of the system. So, Lagrangian of the system becomes T minus u, and now one can use either Lagrange principle or this Hamilton principle to derive the equation motion. So, let us use this Lagrange principle to derive this equation motion. So, in case of Lagrange principle, it becomes d by dt of del L by del Qk dot minus del L by del Qk. So, this becomes 0 as we do not have some external force acting on the system. So, here k equal to 2. So, we have 2 degree of freedom system. So, k equal to 2. So, Q1 equal to theta 1 and Q2 equal to theta 2. So, in this case it may be noted that we have a 2 degree of freedom system, unlike in case of these simple pendulum. So, in case of the double pendulum, k becomes 2 and Q1 is theta 1 and Q2 equal to theta 2. So, we can obtain two equation motion in this case. So, first we will differentiate this, or we will take this Q1 and find the equation motion, and second we will find the equation motion using Qk equal to or Q2 equal to theta 2. So, by doing that thing, so we can write the equation motion which will come in this form. So, it will become m1 L square theta 1 double dot plus m2 L square theta 1 double dot plus m2 L square cos theta 1 minus theta 2 into theta 2 double dot minus m2 L square theta 2 dot sin theta 1 minus theta 2 into theta 1 dot minus theta 2 dot. So, this will be equal to 0. So, if we are taking Q1 equal to theta 1, so we will get this equation. Now, taking Q2, so if you use this expression, so we can find the second equation, so which can be written in this form m2 L square theta 2 double dot plus m2 L square cos theta 1 minus theta 2 into theta 1 double dot plus m2 L square sin theta 1 minus theta 2 into theta 1 dot minus theta 2 dot into theta 1 dot equal to 0. So, in this case you can see that when this theta 1 and theta 2 are very small, then this cos theta 1 minus theta 2. So, this theta 1 minus theta 2 will be very small and this will tends to 1, cos 0 equal to 1, and this sin theta 1 minus theta 2 will tends to theta 1 minus theta 2, and the resulting equation, this equation 1 and this equation 2, one can reduce to its linear form, and one can write the equation in matrix form also. So, if one write the equation in matrix form, so it will be m1 plus m2 L square, m2 L square, then this is m2 L square, m2 L square theta 1 double dot theta 2 double dot plus m1 plus m2 GL 0 0 m2 L G theta 1 theta 2 equal to 0 0. So, in this case, so this part is known as the mass matrix of the system and this is the stiffness matrix of the system. So, one can observe that for this linear double pendulum equation motion, the mass matrix is coupled, that is the off diagonal terms are present, but the stiffness matrix is uncoupled. So, when the mass matrix is coupled, then it is known as dynamically coupled system, and if the stiffness matrix is coupled, then it is known as statically coupled system. So, in this case, so we have a dynamically coupled but statically uncoupled equation. The advantage of taking uncoupled equation will be, so if this equation can be written in this uncoupled form, then one can write this one this way m110 0 m22 theta 1 double dot theta 2 double dot plus k 1 1 0 0 k 2 2 theta 1 theta 2 equal to 0 0. So, in this case one can have two uncoupled equation. For example, in this case it will be m 1 1 theta 1 double dot plus k 1 1 theta 1 equal to 0. This is the first equation, and the second equation will be m 2 2 theta 2 double dot plus k 2 2 theta 2 equal to 0. So, this reduces to that of a two single degree of freedom systems. So, one can find the equation or solution of the single degree of freedom system equation very easily. So, it is required to write the expression or write the equation motion, or it is required to take the coordinate system in such way that the off diagonal terms becomes 0 or the equation becomes uncoupled. So, in this case, so this term and this term gives the coupling for the mass matrix. So, one can decouple those equations by using modal analysis method. So, this is for a linear system, but actually if this theta is not small, so in that case we can have a different equation motion. So, in this case one can write this equation in this form. So, it will becomes m1 plus m2 L square theta 1 double dot plus, so one can expand this cos theta 1 minus theta 2 term, or m2 L square cos theta 1 minus theta 2 into theta 2 double dot. Then the sin theta 1 also one can expand. So, this is m2 L square. So, one can see this term theta 1 minus theta 2. So, if I will take this small also, so this will becomes theta 2 double dot minus m2 L square theta 1 minus theta 2, then multiplied with this theta 2 dot multiplied by theta 1 dot minus theta 2 dot. So, one can have this cubic nonlinearity in this case, or one can, if one can expand this cos and sin for higher harmonics, so one can get quintic or higher order equation motion also. So, this is for the first mass. Similarly, for the second mass one can expand the sin theta 1 minus theta 2 or cos theta 1 minus theta 2 and write the nonlinear equation motion. So, in this way one can derive the equation motion by using either Lagrange principle or Hamilton principle. So, we have already seen this example. So, in this case also one can find the equation motion using this Lagrange or Hamilton principle. The first step is to write the equation, write the position vector of all the mass center. So, here this is the mass center, one can take this is the mass center and this point. So, one can write the position vector of all these points and then find the velocity. After finding the velocity, one can write the kinetic energy of the system and potential energy of the system, and then using the generalized coordinates, so one can derive the equation motion of the system. Similarly, this is another example, so in which one can derive the equation motion by writing the first step by writing the position vector. So, let us first write the position vector of this point C. So, in this case this is a cart containing a rod, so which is oscillating, and this one side of the cart is connected to a fixed rigid support by a spring. So, here one can use two coordinate system or two generalized coordinate. One is the x, that is the change of the position of the mass center of this cart, and the rotation of this bar with respect to this vertical. So, x and theta, so q1 one can take as x and q2 equal to theta. So, initially one can write the position vector using the Cartesian coordinate system by taking this as the x axis or I direction and this y axis or j direction. So, one can write the position vector of this point as x plus r0 plus xi. So, the position vector of this point C can be written as r0 plus x plus. So, if this total length is L and the mass center is at L by 2, so it can be written as r0 plus x plus L by 2 sin theta I, and as I have taken this j direction in the upward direction. So, the y component will be minus L by 2 cos theta j. Similarly, one can find the velocity of this by differentiating this position vector. So, this gives the velocity of the system. So, the kinetic energy of the system can be written as half m. So, m is the mass of this cart. So, m x dot square plus half into m v c dot v c. So, v c is the velocity of point C. So, this gives the, as this point has both translation and rotation. So, the kinetic energy of this point will be kinetic energy due to translation and kinetic energy due to rotation. So, by adding these two kinetic energy, so one can find the kinetic energy of point C. So, the total kinetic energy of the system can be written as half capital M plus small m x dot square plus m L x dot theta dot cos theta plus 1/3 m L square theta dot square. Now, the potential energy of the system can be written due to the potential energy of the spring and due to the change in position of this mass center of this bar. So, the potential energy due to spring equal to half k x dot x square, half k x square plus the position due to this change in position of the bar. So, the potential energy will be equal to m g into, so change in position will be equal to 1 L by 2 into 1 minus cos theta. So, one can write L equal to T minus this V, that is, or T minus one can write this as U. So, T minus U. So, T minus U will be equal to this. So, after getting the Lagrangian of the system, now one can use either the Hamilton principle or the Lagrange principle to find the equation motion. So, in this case you may note that k equal to 2. So, that is a 2 degree of freedom system. Here I can take this q1 equal to x and q2 equal to theta. So, by taking this, so I can derive the equation motion. So, I can get two equation motion. So, due to the presence of this cos theta and sin theta, the equation will be nonlinear equation. So, next we can take another example also for a continuous system. So, in case of a continuous system, so let us derive the equation motion of a continuous system, that is a longitudinal vibration of a rod. So, in this case, so this is the rod, let us take a cantilever type. So, we are supposed to find the vibration of this rod. So, let us take a small element in this rod at a distance x. So, at a distance x, let its displacement becomes u. So, we are taking a very small element which is dx. So, we can write the kinetic energy of the system. So, for the small element, the kinetic energy will be equal to half. So, mass of the small element. So, mass of the small elements becomes, So, if rho is the density of the small element, if rho is the density of this rod, then it will be rho into A into dx. So, this is the mass of this small element, then its velocity becomes u dot. So, it becomes half mass into velocity square. So, this is u dot square. So, this is the kinetic energy of the system. Similarly, potential energy of the system. So, this is the kinetic energy of the small element. So, kinetic energy of the total system I can obtain by integrating this from 0 to L. So, L is the length of the rod. So, we have taken L is the length of the rod. So, the total kinetic energy of the system will be equal to half rho into A into dx. Rho is the density, A is the area of cross section, and dx we have taken the length of the small element, and u is the displacement at a distance x from the fixed end. So, in this way one can find the kinetic energy of the system. So, now the potential energy of the system u can be written as or can be obtained from the strain energy of the system. So, the strain energy of the system can be written as half. So, this is volume integral. So, volume integral stress into strain into dV. So, the stress can be written. So, already you know that stress. So, if it is subjected to a force F, the stress can be written force by area, or in terms of the strain you can write the stress by strain equal to E. So, stress will be equal to E, that is Young's modulus, into the strain. One can write the strain equal to del u by del x. So, strain is del u by del x. So, stress equal to E into epsilon. So, one can write this potential energy equal to, this is volume integral. So, this becomes E into for epsilon, E into epsilon, this becomes E into epsilon square. So, this becomes E into del u by del x whole square into dV. So, this dV can be written if we are considering uniform cross section. So, dV will be equal to A into dx. So, u can be written as half. So, this becomes 0 to L E A del u by del x whole square dx. So, I can write the Lagrangian of the system equal to T minus u. So, this T minus u can be written as integration 0 to, so this T already we have written. So, this is equal to 0 to L half rho A dx u dot square. So, I can write this is equal to rho A u dot square dx minus half 0 to L E A del u by del x whole square dx. So, now I can use, let me use Hamilton's principle to derive this thing. So, if I will use this Hamilton principle, so you can see that not only the equation motion, but also the boundary conditions also I can get from this. So, to use this Hamilton principle, already you know in this continuous system. So, I can write this equal to del L plus del W N C dt equal to 0, but in this case this del W N C, that is the non-conservative work done, equal to 0. So, I can write this T1 to T2. So, this is from 0 to L. So, T1 to T2 0 to L rho A u dot square dx minus, so this is half is there. So, I can take this half out. So, minus E A del u by del x whole square dx into dt. So, I have to use this del operator here. So, del of this equal to 0. So, now by using this del operator and using integration by parts, so you can write, or it will reduce to 0 to L rho a u dot del u T1 to T2 minus T1 to T2 0 to L rho a u double dot del u dx dt minus integration T1 to T2 E a del u by del x del u. So, this is 0 to L dt plus T1 to T2 E a del u by del x whole square del u dx dt. So, already we know this del u at T1 and T2, this becomes 0. So, this term becomes 0, and for the equation motion we add this and this term, as del u is arbitrary. So, we have the equation motion this way. So, rho a u double dot equal to E a del u by del x square. So, this is the linear equation what we obtained for this case, and this term will give the boundary condition. So, del u by del x at left end, or that is the fixed end, either this del u by del x equal to 0 or u equal to 0. So, for the fixed end slope will be 0 or displacement will be 0. Similarly, at right end one can find whether the slope is 0 or the displacement is 0. So, in that way, so one can find the boundary conditions also in addition to equation motion by using Hamilton principle. So, today class we have studied, or we have taken several examples using Lagrange and Hamilton principle to derive the equation motion. So, we have derived the equation motion for a single degree of freedom system, that is simple pendulum, for a 2 degree of freedom system, that is a double pendulum, and a continuous system, that is the longitudinal vibration of a rod. So, next class we will find the nonlinear equation motion for the transverse vibration of a beam, and there we will apply some non-conventional type of forces like magnetic force or other type of forces to derive the equation motion. So, after deriving the equation motion, we will linearize that thing to study the governing equation motion. Also, we will use this Galerkin principle to reduce the spatiotemporal equation to its temporal form. Thank you.